Welcome back, my luxurious fleet, and today we're covering the top 6 Lexus V8s that shaped the company into a luxury powerhouse. In 1989, when Lexus debuted in North America, the V8 was the power plant necessary to compete with the German rivals. Fast forward to today, and the V8 is being threatened by EPA emissions, forced induction, and the looming EV apocalypse. There is no better time to cover the Lexus lineup of bulletproof, powerful, and silky smooth V8s than these uncertain times. This list is in no particular order. My favorite two are placed at 1 and 2, but the rest is a crapshoot. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 6 is the 1UR FSE and FE 4.6 liter V8. The UR family was introduced in 2006 to replace the legendary UZ family. It was first debuted in the 2007 LS460 and introduced the D4S direct injection, and it was equipped with variable valve timing with intelligence for intake and exhaust, aka dual vvt-i. The V8 number 6 on our list is particularly the 4.6 variant known as the 1UR, and it came in 2 flavors. It had the 1UR FSE, which we saw in the LS460 producing up to 385 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Every 1UR FSE was X-ray inspected and CT scanned to ensure the perfect die cast. I don't know if any other brands are doing that. The other flavor we see in the current GX460 and the discontinued GS460 is the 1UR FE. This particular variant is lacking the D4S direct injection. However, it still produces good power with a little over 300 horsepower in the GX to almost 350 horsepower in the discontinued GS460. Motor number 5 is the 3UZ FE. This 4.0-liter V8 is the third and final family member of the legendary UZ lineage. We'll see its relatives further down in the list, of course. Akin to its UZ counterpart, the 3UZ also has an aluminum block. It's a 90-degree V8, just like all of these, that also has aluminum heads and a dual overhead cam. It doesn't have hydraulic lifters on it, forcing some longtime owners to adjust the valves from time to time. We see the 3UZ in the iconic LS430 sedan, the SC430 hardtop convertible, and the rare yet lusted over GS430. Depending on the years, at anywhere from about 282 horsepower and 307 pound-feet of torque to 304 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. For tuners, this is known as the weakest of the UZ lineup due to its larger bore, which decreased the size of the cylinder sleeves. As long as you don't try to push it over 600 horsepower, you should be just fine. Coming in at number 4 is the 2UZ FE, 4.7-liter V8. Obviously, this is the second of the Lexus UZ family, right? There's 1UZ, 2UZ, 3UZ. This is the second. The 2UZ was only used in SUVs and trucks for the brand. While the 1UZ and 3UZ had aluminum blocks, the 2UZ had an iron block to further increase reliability, but it also increased the weight. However, that's not really a big deal for the applications they were used in, such as big SUVs and trucks. Still, like its brothers, it shared the same basic formula, 90-degree V8, 4 valves per cylinder, and non-hydraulic lifters. The latest version of the engine came with vvt-i, which boosted horsepower from 230 horsepower and 302 pound-feet of torque all the way to 282 horsepower and 324 pound-feet of torque. Notable vehicles from Lexus such as the GX470 and the LX470 shared this UZ, as well as many Toyota products like the 4Runner, the Land Cruiser, as well as the Sequoia and Tundra. Number 3 on the list is the big boy, the 5.7-liter 3UR FE. Let's get into it. Unlike the 1UR FSE, it doesn't have the D4S injection, but of course it has the dual vvt-i. It makes 381 horsepower and just over 400 pound-feet of torque. This being the largest of the Lexus V8s is of course paired with the largest Lexus vehicle. My favorite vehicle, the LX 570. Just like the LS's 1UR FSE, the 3UR undergoes X-ray and CT scanning to ensure minimal die casting errors. The 3UR FE also found in the Toyota Tundra. It's found in the Sequoia and the Land Cruiser. However, I'm not sure if those Toyota products get the same CT scanning and X-rays that we see in the LX 570's version of this motor. Toyota has offered a supercharger kit for this motor and cranks the power all the way from 381 horsepower to 504 horsepower and 401 pound-feet of torque all the way up to 550 pound-feet of torque. Toyota also covers this by their warranty if installed at a Toyota dealer. Not a bad deal if you ask me. They should just come out of the factory with this if it's covered by the warranty, right? Shouldn't they have a super version of the LX 570 supercharged? I think they do in the Middle East. But let's get into motor number 2. Now we're getting into the really fun stuff. Motor number 2 is the 2UR GSE and the lesser known FSE, the 5-liter V8 that kicks serious ass from Lexus. Debuted in the iconic ISF back in 2007. Back then, the 2UR GSE produced a whopping 416 horsepower and 371 pound-feet of torque. It reappears in the modern RCF and the GSF, and the compression ratio is boosted from the ISF, which was 11.8, all the way up to 12.3 to 1 ratio. This boost resulted in a staggering 467 horsepower and 389 pound-feet of torque. One of the greatest aspects of this engine is its sky-high 7,100 RPM. You can also find this gem of a motor in the famous LC500, where it makes 471 horsepower, and the newest RC, which is the 2020 RCF and the Track Edition, produce 472 horsepower. This is the second most powerful engine Lexus has ever made, and arguably you could say that this is primarily their most powerful engine they've ever made, because the V10 and the LFA was co-developed with the Yamaha. So you could say that's more of a Yamaha engine, but let's get back to the 2UR. Undoubtedly, apart from the power, the thunderous sound that this monster makes is one of the best in the industry, hands down. Let's listen to it. Before we move on to the V8 number 1 on our list, let's mention the 2UR GSE's long-lost brother, the 2UR FSE. This Lexus V8, also a 5-liter, debuted and ended with the rare and at the time most expensive Lexus ever, the LS 600HL. It has the same dimensions of the GSE but produces 395 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. But it's a hybrid, so it's coupled with electric motors, and this hybrid power plant produces 439 horsepower, which is still technically the most powerful LS ever built. The 439 horsepower is higher than the current LS 500's twin-turbo V6 at 416 horsepower. However, the twin-turbo V6 LS 500 has 442 foot-pounds of torque compared to the 383 600 HL. The LS 500 is a lot faster than the 600 HL, even though it's technically down on power. The LS 500 goes 0 to 60 in a whole second faster than the LS 600H. 5.7 seconds or 4.7 seconds. I would take the lesser horsepower motor any day if it's going to get me a second faster. So let's get into motor number 1. V8 number 1 on the list is none other than the legendary 1UZ FE. This is what kickstarted everything. This engine is the heart of Lexus. This is what breathed fire inside the original LS 400 and turned the entire luxury automaking world upside down way back in 1989. This is the legendary 1UZ FE V8. It is one of the first V8s that had double overhead cam, and arguably is one of the first reliable V8s that had a double overhead cam as well. Common with all modern Lexus V8s, the 1UZ had an aluminum engine block and aluminum heads. Just like its other UZ brethren, it doesn't have hydraulic lifters, which to some is a deal breaker on the secondhand market. Initially, this engine poured out a generous 256 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. Revised in 1995 with lighter pistons and connecting rods, the 1UZ pumped out 5 more horsepower and 9 pound-feet more of torque. The biggest addition to the 1UZ was variable valve timing with intelligence, vvt-i, in 1997, boosting it as high as 300 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, seen in the GS400. Only 3 Lexus models have ever sported this iconic motor: the SC400, the GS400, as well as, of course, the OG itself, the LS 400. And before I wrap things up, Lexus is rumored to be working on a brand new V8 to power something truly, truly special that the world has been waiting for. It's been rumored for a long time. So what is it? Well, the LCF sport model, so we have the LC500, right? Well, the LCF, it's a prototype right now. We'll just say that. And it will, in theory, get the 4-liter twin-turbo V8 from Lexus. Could they just twin-turbo the 1UZ, right? That's a 4-liter. No, I don't think they will. It's going to be a brand new V8 4-liter twin-turbo, over 600 horsepower. This is going to be the best V8, one of the best V8s in the world, to be honest, when it comes out. All of the Lexus V8s are already known as some of the best V8s in the world. They're silky smooth, they're buttery, they have good power delivery, they're linear, but we're really, really excited to see what this 4-liter twin-turbo V8 is going to be like in the LCF. Lexus arguably has the best V8 motors in the last 30 years in the auto industry. The reliability, silky smooth power delivery are second to none. If you've never driven a V8 Lexus, you need to. You need to put it on your bucket list. They're that special. They are that amazing. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit that like button. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe and be a part of the luxurious fleet. We would love to have you. I'll see you in the comments below and in the next video. Peace.